Hello! I am in the middle of production right now for my 2D animated short this year. We have to do one every year at CalArts, at least in the character animation program, but also in experimental, I think. I didn't know anything about the process of filmmaking before I came here. I thought it might be fun to make a little video and explain what filmmaking looks like at a school like CalArts. I think cool thing about filmmaking at CalArts is that you get to work on your own project all by yourself, really. So depending on what kind of person you are, the process is always going to look pretty differently. I'm going to talk about the way it looks for me. I'm a very visual person, I guess, so I always prioritize that, whereas other people might prioritize the story or the character development, the dialogue, whatever. So it's different for every person. So usually when I get here, the first semester in the fall semester, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm not set to a story. I have rough ideas. I always have a couple ideas that I like. I'm not really sure which one to go with. So what I do is I board in thumbnails, so super rough. I board all the ideas that I have, put them all together and show them in class, pitch 3 to 4 to 5 ideas and see which one has the best reaction, which one I'm most excited about to pitch makes a difference too. Once I'm set on a story, I'll start working on the rough boards and everything. And right off the bat, I'll try to think about, okay, what does the location look like? What do the characters look like? What could be the design and shape language of the entire world, I guess, and everything. And I'm making it sound super fancy, but it's just a good thing to think about if you're already boarding. I'm already doing my first prop designs, my first possible layout designs, my first possible environments and everything. For my film this year, I needed village designs, a special kind of tribal feeling, with a bunch of carvings and everything. I think it's a good goal your first semester is to lock your story, be happy with your story, and finish the entire look of the film. As much pre-production as you can get out of the way, the better, because you want to come back after winter break and be able to jump in right away, right? So I want to talk about characters a little bit specifically. I'm not a big character designer. My heart lies in visual development and environment design mostly. But characters, I mean, that's super important. That's what's gonna drive the story. So you want to be really comfortable with drawing and animating your character. You want to be really comfortable and answer all the design questions as early as possible. What I did was I started off for my girl character with a sketch I liked, just some poses and everything, and I was okay, cool, I like that. How am I gonna animate that? Can I turn this in space and everything? And I realized, because she has such a round face and everything, she doesn't look three-dimensional, really. It's really hard to turn her in space. I need to actually sculpt that thing, and you can do that in ZBrush. I did it in Monster Clay, taking John Mahoney's sculpture class, which is, if you don't know him, he's amazing. You can look up his Instagram. He taught me how to sculpt all my characters and his characters' heads in Sculpey. So I did that kind of stuff, and after that I could do my expression sheets. After that I could do my turnaround, some poses and everything. And only then I was able to actually jump into a pipeline test, an actual animation. So at this point, I've been bringing in my storyboards every week. I've been getting loads of critiques and everything. It was super long in the beginning. There's so many unnecessary parts and everything. Then the mood wasn't really clear. It's so many problems as always. And even if I'm not a story person, I guess you just can't bullshit the storyboard process. It could be the most beautiful film in the world. It has to make sense, and it has to make people feel something, ideally. So story is just really important. So I've been bringing in my storyboards every day to film workshop, which is a class we take where we workshop films in a tiny group, and everyone has to take it after second year. at the very end, ultimately, I finally had a board, a timed out board that I was happy with. So if you time out your storyboard and put them all in one video file, that's what you call an animatic, in case you didn't know. The goal is that by the end of fall semester, you want to have a locked animatic with ideally some temp sound and as much pre-visual development done as possible, and then finish one pipeline test at least. A pipeline test is going to be the first finished piece of animation you're going to do for your film, and it's really just one thing where you want to show the entire look of the film. You like finish it from start to finish, not just a rough animation, but it's done, it's colored, it's inked, it's everything, you put effects on it and everything, just in order to show what the final film is going to look like. For me, I always do a pipeline test and I'm super unhappy with it, and then I have to take a huge break, which is winter break, figure out what I hate about it, and come back and start it over with the pipeline test. That's just been my process for the entirety of all 3 years. I come back and I'm like, I hate the look of my film, I hate the feel of my film, I just hate my film in general. Because visuals are so more important for me, I always hit this wall and then I start over and then I like it. And that's okay, it's a process. You change your opinion multiple times. Some people change their story like 2 months before the deadline. And a lot of the times that's a good idea too, and what they do in the end turns out better. It might not be as polished, but a lot of the times your intuition is right. If your body tells you like you have like a weird feeling, you're like, it doesn't really feel right, this doesn't feel like my film, you should listen to that. You're gonna work on that for 12 hours every day. Next semester, you wanna love it as much as possible. So, winter break. Winter break is super important. To take that break for yourself and to take space away from your film, I believe. I know some people have super complicated films and some people just want to keep on working and everything, but for my part, I'm so glad that I don't have a Cintiq at home. And yeah, I did some research during winter break. I went to some places where I knew that there were buildings that looked similar than the ones in my film. I did some photos of like plants that I'm gonna need in the world and everything. And I got to design a few more houses after I took some photos. I did those all traditionally, which was so much fun, and ultimately led me to my decision to give my whole film a kind of traditional watercolory look and watercolory textures and everything. But mostly I just relaxed and I did art that's not film related, that's not work related and everything, just so my mind can be as fresh as possible and I can be as excited as possible to get back to my film. What happens then is something they call winter session, which is 2 weeks of just taking kind of optional classes. This time is mostly used by students for like, I think, at least for me, final problem solving. This was the time when I finally figured out what my backgrounds are gonna look like. This year and last year this happened. I just did a background and was like, oh, this is it. I like this one. This is a time where you probably want to start working on your color script if you haven't done that already. This is also the time where I would do my second non-shitty pipeline test and everything. So winter session is really there to like get like the final big problems out of the way, I guess. Stuff that I'm scared about, maybe start tackling that. In my film I had a lot of creatures in my film. I've got this ratting animal that I showed you the sculpture of, where I had to figure out how that's gonna move, how that's gonna look in water. So I did a kind of a second pipeline test of that. I did a animation test of how buffaloes move, because I'll have some buffalo characters that are super heavy and moving through water. So stuff where I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can find good reference for that. That's the stuff I tackled so I could be as non-scared as possible when I finally start production. And at the end of winter session, beginning of the actual semester, that's when you really want to make a schedule, just for your own sanity. Because if you always have all the things you have to do in your head and it's just too much, your brain will just explode. I just can't sleep if I don't have lists and schedules and everything. Just take it all out and you know you're not gonna forget it, you're gonna cross it off, you're gonna give yourself own deadlines, the teachers are gonna help you with that. It's just super helpful that you know, okay, as long as I finish all my rough animation by March 5th, I'm good. As long as I finish my tie-down animation by that date, I'm good. As long as I found a composer by that day, I'm good. And it's just something to like relax yourself. It's just something that gives you security that it is possible to finish this huge project. And then you kind of want to start your production, your actual animation, I think as soon as possible, because there's just no way of knowing how long each scene is gonna take. You can like kind of estimate it, but it just depends on the day. Yesterday was a day where I did a bunch of scenes that I thought was gonna be super complicated, and I just finished them all in a day, and it was fine. I'm happy with them. And then the day before that, I had a scene where there was very minimal movement. It was really just the character was sitting and breathing. And it's basically just a line ball. It took me forever. You just have no way of knowing. So I'll try doing like 2 rough animations a day, 2 shots roughly animated, and 1 cleanup maybe. And then like some minor extra thing, maybe some portfolio stuff or something. That's like always like my kind of my daily goal, I guess, depending of course on how hard your shots are and everything. And also on the side, you want to start thinking about your other teammates. And I know I said you work on your film alone, but you need help. You need maybe a sound designer if you don't think you have time for that, if you don't feel confident in your sound design skills, or a composer, of course. If you don't know how to play an instrument, or you're just not capable of making the right music, then ask your composer friends in the music school, put up posters and stuff like that. A lot of people are very eager to like help you on your film and be part of this project, so luckily I never had problems finding a composer. Same with voice actors. You probably need, even if there's no dialogue in your film, you probably need like some like bodily noises, some grunts or something. So last week I actually got to finally record my voice actress, who was amazing. Her name is Angela Rosado. She is in the acting program here at CalArts and everything, and she did a wonderful job. She auditioned, sent me an email after she saw my poster, and then we recorded her in 30 minutes, and I'm still happy with the recordings. CalArts has a professional recording studio here on campus, and it's crazy. It looks like a normal room to me, but it's the most professional setup there is out there right now. I also have a professional mixing studio. They're really well set up here. They have great mics, great equipment and everything. They really try to make it as professional as possible. So I tried to get that out of the way. My composer is working on his first draft for this story right now. It's just nice to have that out of the way. You don't want to like, when you're in crunch time of animating and you're struggling to get everything done, you don't want to also have to worry about like recording your voice actors and stuff like that. I'll still have to record some sounds. I'm probably going to find most of the sounds online or in our little sound library of the school, but I do have to probably record some footsteps and stuff like that, so I'll have to rebook the recording studio again for a Foley session, but at least I've got the voice actor and the composer kind of out of the way. Then the last few months, the last month especially, like everything after portfolio day here at CalArts is, I believe, people consider crunch time, which is just, for me at least, me scrambling to get all my animation done and cleaned up and colored. It is the time where I finish all my backgrounds till the very end, and it's the time when I finish my sound, my final soundscape and everything. I'll have some meetings with some teachers if I have the time to get some extra feedback. But that's just gonna be like the last month and a half of this semester, or until the film deadline, which is April 20th. In the very end, you want to put them all together and see how they play out. If they play out well, and if you see that you didn't miss any of the tiny little things, you can finally start compositing the whole thing, which means putting all the layers and the animation and the background elements and everything together in After Effects. Add effects, like for me there's going to be a lot of fog, some lighting and stuff like that, some shadows, some water effects of course, some like water ripples. I don't want to animate that all by hand, I don't have the time. Hopefully by then your soundscape is done and you're happy with your score and everything. And then if you have it all set up, you can put it all together and then submit it, hopefully, before the deadline. And I try to always get it done a week before the deadline. My schedule is about a week before the actual deadline because you just never ever know what happens. It could be that you just lost a file somehow and you have to redo it. And if you see that the last night, it's just you're just brain dead by then. You just don't want that kind of stress at the very end. So try to get it done earlier than the actual deadline. Really try. There's so many horror stories of people just not finishing because just something went wrong or the computer crashed or something the last night. And if that happens a week before, you're just mad for 2 days and then you just start over, you know? Okay, I think I'm out of time. I need to head to my next class right now, but thanks for listening. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful at all, if there's any other questions you have about like what life at CalArts look like or everything. I'll be glad to help. Have a nice day, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.